There we go. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to our show. How are you? Hope you're having a great day. I'm excited to be able to talk with you today. I hope you enjoyed the Rise of the Entrepreneur yesterday, and let you know inside. That's inside of GoPro Academy. Where is that, Sandy? Inside of First Steps, the Rise movie.
Yes, and it's also in this program too.
It's in this program. It's also in the First Steps course. You can watch that as much as you'd like. Hope you got value from it. It's fun to do. Kind of travel around the world. The part where I'm walking up the mountain up to that big cliff where I finally released the balloon. My friend Steele here. Steele, come up here a second. This is my buddy Steele. You can't see. Well, if you go back, can you see his flip-flops? He was walking up that mountain backwards, holding a camera with flip-flops that entire time.
That's what I do.
That's what he does. Anyway, just wanted you to see Steele. Say hi to Steele. So we travel all over the place. We got that Statue of Liberty shot that we couldn't use. And we did that walk in front of the Wall Street. It was like, what, how many takes? 2 takes? 2 takes off the top of a head walking in front of Wall Street. Loves that shot. And the guy, I don't know if you saw the guy behind who was selling hot dogs or whatever, waving at us in the shot. So anyway, we did, it took us like, what, 100 days from beginning to end before we finished that thing? And that included the 2 weeks of editing. Anyway, a lot of fun to be able to do. Hope you got value from it. It's fun for us to do. We're working on actually a shorter version that we can use for more prospecting, but that's on our to-do list. It's been on our to-do list for how long? Still about a year. At some point, we'll get it done. Sorry, my voice is a little bit funky. I've been recording for the last couple hours, but I'm excited to be able to share with you skill number 7. And I will also tell you, tomorrow we've got one extra bonus session for you to kind of put a bow on this whole experience and to give you some direction and guidance as we close it out. Okay? So tomorrow, same time, same place. See you there. Now, let's talk about skill number 7. We've talked about the 6 skills. Skill number 1, what? Finding prospects. Skill number 2, inviting, getting people to take a look. Skill number 3, presenting. Presenting in a way that will work and also will duplicate, help people understand what we do. Skill number 4, follow up, answering questions, overcoming objections. Skill number 5, closing, helping people make a decision to become a distributor or to become a customer. Skill number 6, getting people started effectively. That's duplication skill. And this is now skill number 7, promoting events. Now, this is the highest paying, put this in your notes. This is the highest paying skill of all the skills. And when I first started, this skill saved me because I was pretty good at getting people to attend an event. Back then, we didn't have online events. We're going to be talking mostly about online events today, but I'm going to talk also about in-person events because at some point we're going to have in-person events again, and you're going to need to have that skill. But in the meantime, we're going to be promoting online events. Now, highest paying skill. What does an event do? It tells the story better than you can tell it. Remember, we've been talking about third party, bringing in a third party resource. The event experience itself tells a story that you can't tell. It creates an emotional experience that you can't create. It does things for you that's incredible. It provides social proof. In other words, they might not hear or respect you, but they see so much success, so much evidence of people loving the product, so much actual proof that this thing is working, that it builds belief in people. Relationships are formed and strengthened at events. Really important. It helps develop leaders. I believe that leaders are born at events. Every major decision I ever had in my network marketing career, I made at an event. Every single one. I decided to stop crawling in an event. I decided to go pro in an event. You know what I mean? All these different things. Decisions are made at events. Leaders are born at events. It helps create a stronger vision. It builds more belief. And there's also some fun and adventure. There's an adventure to a destination event. There's a little, hopefully you've felt a little bit of an adventure, even just this little 7 and 7 that we're doing, or we did our GoPro World Tour, a little bit of an adventure. It's something special, something cool to be able to do. So different types of events. Throw those up, please. There's big company conventions. Some of those are online and some of those are in person. Most of those are online now. I was just a special guest for recorded a section for a company that's doing their big event, 5 languages on Saturday. So they're doing 12 hours of content all day long. So big company conventions, regional events, monthly local events, weekly events, home events, online events, industry events. So this is, like I said, the one skill that pays more than any other skill. Now, all of these are going to end up being important in your skill set, but so I'm going to talk about both, okay? We're going to spend some time talking about online, how to get people on more Zooms, how to get people to show up in general. But most of that is reciprocal, if I would you, if I invited you, would you attend, that kind of thing, okay? But I got to tell you one thing that happened to me. Show me the board, guys. First convention I went to, I was, here's the convention room. Here's the stage. Right? And I remember when I went to that event, I was pressed up against the glass. I'm excited to go. Can't wait. I'm sitting in the front. I'm taking notes. And at some point, I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and here I am standing at the back of the room, waiting for my chance to go back up and take my seat up front without being disruptive. Okay? I'm standing back here. And I look to my left, and here is one of the top earners in the company. His name is David. And David's standing right next to me. And he had, the night before, got an $80,000 bonus check, which I couldn't even fathom. It's just like, might as well have been 80 million. It's just so much. I'm like, David. So first of all, first thing that goes through your mind, you're standing next to somebody. It's like, for me, it was standing next to Julia Roberts or something. It was like some celebrity. And I wanted to say something smart. I didn't want to lose the moment. In a moment, he's going to go up the aisle or I'm going to go up the aisle. And it's going to be gone. It's going to be over. I can't miss this moment. I'm really hungry. I want to have success. My very first event. There's probably 2,000 people in the room. And I said, excuse me, your name's David, right? He said, yes. I said, hi, my name's Eric. I'm from Minneapolis. He said, hi, I'm from Florida. I said, it's really nice to meet you. Congratulations on your success. He says, thanks. I said, David, I can't miss this opportunity. Can you tell me what's the secret? And of course, there's no secret. I know that now, but he could have said, hey, there's no secret. Now's not the time. Go sit down, whatever. But he took pity on me. He was nice. And he said, Eric, He points to the room. He said, see this room? Here's the secret. The company does an event like this 3 times a year, about every 4 months. He said, here's the secret. You want the secret? Here's the secret. 4 months from now, half of this room won't come back. And the other half of this room that come back 4 months from now, they're going to be making 2 times the average of all the people in the room. These people will be replaced by other new people that will come in. These people that come back 2 in a row, they're going to be making twice the average of everybody in the room. And I said, so you're telling me if I come back in 4 months that I'll be making 2 times? He said, well, I can't guarantee it, but the chances are really, really good that that's going to happen. On average, that's what's going to happen. I'm like, He said, Eric, it doesn't stop there. 4 months later, half of this group won't come back. And this group that come back for the 3rd time in a row, they're going to be earning 4 times the average of the income of everybody in the room. I said, so you tell me if I come back in 4 months and then 4 months again, that my chances are really good to make 4 times the amount. He said, yep. He said, and it keeps going. If you come back 1 year from today, half of this group won't be there. This group will be making 8 times the average of the people in the room. He said, and it keeps happening. Half of that group won't come back. And this group will be making 16 times. And then half of that group won't come back. And this group will be making 32 times. He said, Eric, pretty soon, you'll be up on stage. And I just went, wait a minute. I'm here now. In 4 months, I'm here. 8 months here. 12 months here. 16 months here. 20 months here. In a couple years, I can be on stage. He said, yep. No guarantees, but that's what the average is going to be. And I was like, wait a minute. I can do that. I don't even have to have money to do that. I just figure it out. I just have to decide I'm going to do it. I could do that. I could do that. He said, yeah, you can do it. He said, but there's one catch. If you ever miss an event, any one of these, you start over. I was like, oh, man. So I can never miss. So I just decided for destination events, I was never, ever going to miss. I was never going to miss an event. And I never did. And if those of you hosting events, just for the fun of it, next time you get everybody in the room, how many of you have been here 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row? If I go back for the last 11 years of how many people have been to GoPro Recruiting Mastery every single year, you know the number that have been to every single one is like 5 people. So this holds true. So here's what I want you to know. For in-person destination events, let me use green. Green is what I'm talking about. You will earn approximately $1,000 per person per year. $1,000 per person on your team per year. So if you have 10 people from your team attending some destination event for your company, chances are excellent you're around $10,000 a year in income. If you have 50 people, $50,000 a year. 100 people, $100,000 a year. 1,000 people, $1 million a year. That's a general formula that works pretty good up to about 1,000 people, and then the formula starts to break down a little bit. But just know that if you bring 10 people and you're not yet at $10,000 a year, you're headed in that direction. But if you bring 10 people and you're making $100,000 a year, just know you should be worried, because you're not going to have enough business in order to be able to support that $100,000 a year income. The income is going to come down to this formula at some point. So you need to be thinking about this. You need to be prioritizing this. I had a friend of mine. I've believed in this formula for forever. And this friend, his name was Art. And Art, I did an event in Chicago, early Chicago, and early Chicago, early in my career in Chicago. This was probably 1993, 2, 3, something like that. And this guy got in his car and he drove from Boston to Chicago, Illinois, to an event, a leadership event that we were hosting. Me and a couple other leaders were hosting. And I remember us sitting in the lounge. We were sitting in the lounge lobby bar, kind of. And he said, "What do I have to do to change my life? Because I've got to change my life. I don't want to live like this anymore." And me and a friend of mine, we sat down and we said, the only thing between you and being a millionaire is you putting 1,000 people in the room in your event, your own event, 90 days from now. He's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, if you'll put 1,000 people in the room on your team or your prospects in a room in 90 days from now, a millionaire will not be a problem." He's like, "Well," and I've told that to lots of different people. I give people advice like that all the time, but most people don't take the next step. He says, "Well, tell me what I got to do that." And I was like, "Well," we spent the next 2 hours breaking it down. Specific game, week by week, how many people on the team, how many people you have to recruit. If he recruited, if he got 20 people on his team, each of those 20 people would each have to bring 50 people to an event in order to be able to have 1,000. If you had 10 people on the team, each would have to have 100. If you had 100 people on the team, they'd each have to bring 10. You'd have to learn how to promote. You'd have to learn how to get aggressive. You have to learn how to go after it, right? So he went home and he had some stops and starts. And 90 days later, he didn't have 1,000 people, but he had about 600. And I will tell you, that was the beginning of an incredible career for him. Today, he earns and has earned for many years between $4 and $5 million a year for as long as I can remember. And you know why? Tremendous amount of hard work over years, but it all started getting people to attend events. He's one of the best in the world at getting people to attend events. You can become one of the best in the world also, okay? Now, let me give you some core principles. I'm going to skip past the one graphic, go to the core principles graphic. See it? All right, go ahead. Get to the core principles. So tell me when you're there. All right, cool. What I want you to understand as you're doing this, and this will apply to online and face-to-face events, but your belief is absolutely critical. Your belief that this event is going to be a life-changing experience. Your belief that this Zoom is going to absolutely rock their world. Your belief that that home event is going to absolutely be a game changer. Your belief that the convention is non-negotiable. Your belief is number one. You've got to get so solid. I mean, to the point that your belief has to be so solid that you've got to absolutely know that if they don't attend and you were responsible, that you were doing them the biggest disservice of their lives. that to accept their excuses, you were dooming their future. To not insist, you were being a jerk. To not insist that they attend. Okay? On anything. To not insist that they attend the Zoom, not insist that they attend to the convention, whatever it is. That's got to be your belief. This is the best way for you to be able to help the person, regardless of their circumstance. Your story about your reason, your why is also important. To be able to know why you're doing this. Why are you inviting people to your events? Why are you asking people to be there? Your story is critical. Giving Steele a hard time. Third thing I would tell you is repetition. You want to become a world-class promoter, you got to repeat it over and over and over to the point that if people aren't complaining that you're promoting this too much, then you're not promoting it enough. If people aren't complaining that you're just, you won't shut up about the Zoom that's coming up, then you're not talking about it enough. If people aren't complaining, they're like, shut up about the company convention Zoom that's happening or webinar that's happening on Saturday. So shut up about it. If they're not complaining, you're not talking about it enough. Posers announce, hey, there's going to be a training on Saturday. There's going to be a Zoom next Tuesday. Amateurs invite, hey, you should come to the webinar on Saturday. You should come to the Zoom on Tuesday. You should come to our convention. They invite. Professionals promote. They are relentless. They're just absolutely relentless. They're totally single-minded. They are infectious. They are, I mean, you get around them and you're going. You get around them and you are going to that event because they promote. And they always promote from event to event to event to event, whether it's online or offline. Next core principle is you need to be a good problem solver. You need to be a good problem solver. Let me use the board here, guys. How do I get a fresh board again? You can do it? Cool. All right, so what are the excuses for people to not attend? I'm busy. Oops, sorry. I'm busy. I have to work. I don't have the money. Childcare. I've got some health issue. I got family obligations. I attended before. Why do I need to come again? My spouse won't let me. Oh, look at you changing fonts right in the middle. So fancy. Now it's going to be two different ones. I hate crowds. Afraid of flying or travel. I don't fly. I've got another event, whatever. I'll do it later when I'm more successful. Okay? See now, look guys, we have two different fonts. What are we going to do with two different fonts? Now it looks like two different lists. People watching are going to be confused. So, here's what I want you to understand when it comes to an excuse for an online or offline event. Why? My jacket did not do that. Why they can't? Oh, come on. You did that on purpose. My jacket did that? Come on. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it now. is why they must. Oh, look at me. Why they can't is why they must. Whatever reason they have for not doing it is the reason why they have to do it. That's my belief. When I'm talking to somebody, they tell me, oh, I can't because I'm busy. Well, that's why you have to. That's my feeling. Pounding on the microphone. That's my feeling. That's not exactly, I don't say that, but that's my internal dialogue is, okay, they're telling me that they can't go because they're too busy. I have to find a way to persuade them to go so they end up having more time in their life. They have to work. They don't have the money. That's why you got to go, so you can find a way to make some money. That's my internal belief. I don't tell them this, but why they can't is why they must. And this comes down to the same objection 4 steps that we talked about before. What are you doing now? They're going to be looking at this little thing popping up all the time. 4 steps to answering objections. Same thing here. Listen to what they're telling me. Childcare. I don't have a babysitter. Relate. I totally understand. I totally get where you're coming from. Tell stories, your story or other people's stories of how they overcame it, why they overcame it, and why it was the best decision they ever made. And then if I would you. If I would you. Same 4 steps to handling these objections. Okay? So here's the thing. Don't buy other people's stories. Don't buy other people's stories. It's not important that they buy your story. It's important that you don't buy their story. You don't need to worry about it. It's important that you don't buy their story. And here's what I mean by this. I used to have people come to me on my team and said, I talk to everybody and they just say it's too much money to go to the event. In other words, they bought the story that their team member said that it's too much money. They bought it, they believed it, now they own that story. I didn't buy that story. So I would say, let them talk to me. Bring it to me, let's talk. And in 5 minutes, I was able to show enough value that they totally changed their mind and they made the decision to come and attend the event. Why? Because I didn't buy the story. When somebody tells me that I don't have the time, I'm too busy, I've got another event, I've attended before, I got a family issue, I have to work, I've got this health problem, there's a birthday party I got to miss, I can't miss. I just never bought that story. And if you want to be successful, you don't buy the story either. Okay? So I want to give you a list of things. You want to become a world-class promotion machine. I'm going to give you some keys to being able to do that. And then we'll wrap up. Give me a fresh page, please. All right. We got our fonts. I want to do it in rainbow. Do you have rainbow? I want to do rainbow. Okay, I'm doing rainbow. Number 1, decide. Decide that this is a priority. Whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's a webinar, whether it's Facebook Live, or an in-person event that happens at some point. Make the decision that this is important. Make the decision that you're going to promote like your life depended on it. Make the decision that you're not going to treat this casually. Make the decision you're going to be more dedicated to this than anyone inside the entire company. Okay? Next, set a goal. Set a goal. How many people are you going to get to attend this event? How many? Make it a stretch goal. Get serious about it, right? Don't make an easy goal. Don't make a little tiny goal. Make some outrageous goal that just makes you sweat just looking at it. How many people are you going to get on this next Zoom? How many people are you going to get on this next Facebook Live or webinar or company event or whatever it happens to be? Set an outrageous goal. 3, make a commitment. Make a commitment to that goal. Decide you're going to do it. When other people fade, you're not going to fade. When other people get weak, you're not going to be weak. Make a commitment that you're going to happen, of what's going to happen. Next, set expectations for your team. Let your team know it's expected that they attend. Let your team know it's expected that they bring guests. Let your team know that this is an expectation. This is not just a request. You're serious about this. Very, very serious. So set proper expectations and set them high. Next. Utilize peer pressure, positive and negative. In other words, congratulate and recognize the people who are registered to attend and don't congratulate the ones that don't attend. List the people who are attending your next event by rank, and it's going to force the top ranked people to get registered because they want to make sure that they're on the list. Create all different kinds of things to make people who register feel part of the club and have people who don't register feel left out. You're like, oh, this sounds mean. This sounds, it sounds like, Here's what I'm telling you. This is the same exact process that every single organization in the world uses in order to be able to get compliance. This is done from a good heart because my belief is if they don't attend, I'm doing them the biggest disservice ever. So I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm not showing up at that event saying, man, I wish I would have done a little bit more. No, I'm using all the tools possible. Inclusion. Include the people who are involved. Create special perks for people who are registered. Special perks for people who are going to attend. And the other side of inclusion is what? Exclusion. If you're not registered for the event, I can't talk to you. I used to do, I was telling one of our production guys this. Back in the 90s, I used to do what we called the Monday Night Communication Show. It was a 2-hour company-wide communication show that we broadcast every Monday night. And I'll give you an example. It took about a year. We decided that this was important. If we got every single person in the company to watch this every Monday night over any other thing, our goal was 100% to watch. Our commitment was outrageous. The expectation we said to the leaders was hardcore for their benefit. So here's how hardcore we were. If a leader called me during the week, this happened every Monday night, I would ask them a question that was answered on the Monday Night Communication Show. If they didn't have the answer to the question, then I would say, I'm not talking to you. You're wasting my time. That weekly show is so important for the health and the strength of the entire organization, and you don't even have time for it, but you have time to call me and take shortcuts? No, I'm not talking to you. Sorry. Love you, but if you watch the weekly communication show, then you're in the group. But if you don't, then you're not in the group. Sorry. So I included the people who were in and gave them anything they needed, and I excluded the people who were out. Some people might judge me, say, well, that's really hardcore. Yeah, but guess what? It took me about a year to a year and a half to get close to 100% compliance. Everybody was on the same page. And then the company went through an absolute Armageddon. One of the worst seasons I've ever been in my network marketing career. But we had everyone connected every week. And we got through that challenge because we insisted that this was an expectation for everybody in the organization to be connected. We dug our well before we were thirsty, and we were ready for the opportunity instead of vice versa, not being ready. So that's what we did. You got to decide, is your Zoom call that you're doing a priority or not? Is the event that you're promoting online a priority or not? Is it a would be nice to, or is it a must? You got to decide. Okay? I decided that it was important. Recognition. How can you reward the people who are attending? How can you reward the people for attending? How can you congratulate them for attending? Find every possible way that you can. Campaigns. Can you create a campaign that would get more people to attend your company webinar or your Zoom call? Can you create a campaign? Can you name it? How many people are you going to bring? What kind of campaign can you do? Can you do some march to say, 100 people is going to attend your company convention, whatever it's going to be, 1,000 people? Create a campaign around that. Create a Facebook page around it that would promote this particular thing, that would recognize these people, that would create the peer pressure of people who weren't involved, provide training in order to be able to help people get where they need to go. Contests. Can you have a contest, whoever gets the most people? Can you have any incentives for people who are complying versus people who aren't? This is what leaders do. This is a short list. I mean, I have a long list because I do, I'll give you another one. Give people assignments. I want you to call every single person on your team, and I want you to do everything you have to do in order to get them registered for this next event. Or an assignment. I want everybody on the team to get 10 people to register for the event today, by the end of the day. Who's in? You can have a contest around it, whoever gets it done. Right? So all of these things and more. What I'm saying to you is this. What I'm saying is, pull out all the stops. Go as aggressive as you can. Go as hard as you can by really making this decision, setting the goal, making the commitment, setting the expectation, right? And then create all the social structures around it in order to be able to make this a priority. Now, the same principle works for online versus offline. Same exact principle. Okay? You just got to decide, what are you prepared to do? Is this important to you or not? I will tell you, this skill did everything for me. It saved my whole life. Do I talk about this in any of the courses? Promoting events? I don't really? Huh. Yeah, maybe not. But really, you know what it is? Decide. Decide that this is important. Decide this is a priority. Decide it's going to happen. Decide you're going to make it happen. And you'll make it happen. And you'll get better at it. Every event, you'll get better. Do this. Schedule a Zoom sometime in the next 2 weeks. A Zoom call, okay? I'd like each of you to create your own event. Schedule a Zoom call for just your team. And then invite some special guests. Invite your upline, invite some big shot from your company, invite some corporate person from your company, tell them you're going to bring a bunch of people. And then I want you to see how many people you can get to attend that event using what I just shared with you. How many can you get to attend? use every creative, repetitive project aspect in the world in order to get more people to attend. Just don't take no for an answer. So create an event, promote an event. And through that, you're going to learn. You're going to learn. You're going to get better, right? We're going to make a plan. We're going to do that plan. And then as soon as your Zoom is over, just go, what worked? What didn't? What could I do better next time? Then schedule the next one. Then schedule the next one. And when we get to face-to-face, okay, and that's going to happen, then you're going to have another objection is, oh, I don't know, with all the social distancing, should I go sit next to somebody at a convention? You're going to have to deal with that objection too, okay? But the principles apply. This skill bought me time so I can develop the other skills. This skill is the highest paying skill in all of network marketing. Getting people to attend, getting people to free up their time, getting people to give you their attention is worth a lot of money. So decide you're going to get good at it, okay? So I want to hear about your events that you're doing. I want to see that you're breaking records, that you have more people attending than you ever thought possible, okay? Decide you're going to do this. All right? So that's it for skill number 7. Like I said, tomorrow we have a bonus session. I hope you can attend that. It's going to really help take all that we've talked about and give it more life. So I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same station. And tell the truth. Do you love my rainbow? Pretty slick. See you tomorrow.